JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. June 5th, 2024. Quick rant, talk about the markets, some of the names I'm watching, some of the names I'm trading, and some updates on others. But the S&P up for the third session in a row. Yesterday, not as many shenanigans. So on Friday and Monday, we had those reversals in the day. Yesterday, markets were in the red, melted higher into the afternoon, hit highs right around 3 o'clock or so, dipped, then went back pretty much closing at highs. Three sessions in a row to the upside for the S&P. We'll see if it makes it for today. ADP numbers came in. I don't know if you just saw the little post by Carl from CNBC, but the ADP report was the lowest since January. Uh, the old, not the old adage, but that not that the Fed's been trying to push the market into recession or the economy into recession, but maybe that sets the jobs report up Friday for a little more weakness. And so we'll have to see how that all plays out. But I keep talking about this chop until there's not much in the way of catalyst this week. So we have the May jobs report on Friday, and outside that, there's been some earnings, but the big story has been yields, and the TLT has been on a 4-day tear, and yields have been dropping. So I think as long as yields stay flat or continue to decline, I think it just bodes well for more highs over the next week or two. Take a look at a SPY 531 or so is probably the resistance, and then it's blue sky breakout, and then revisit maybe for a little pullback. So that's kind of the scenario there. Some names I'm looking at, and finally, after having spot on a lot watch this Monday from its price hike in the U.S., saw it gapping and running yesterday, able to get some calls, broke over 320 in the morning, tested 327 in the afternoon, able to close some of my calls out to cover costs for over 100%. I think it might do 335 plus. So I'll probably lock some more strikes in right at the open and just hold a couple just in case it does do that breakout. You look at the chart, it's been consolidating since April, had that big earnings move, tested, I think it was 320 and change, then gave that whole back down to 270, and then it's been chopping ever since. And now I think that's just that news on Monday was the kick it needs to get to the upside. So that's kind of the trade there on spot. VKTX, to say frustrating or disappointing would be a severe understatement. Their Nash data, which came in better than expected, and if you look at a comparable company, MDGL, it came in better than their data. So MDGL is a $5.8 billion company. VKTX, which lost 10% yesterday, is probably, let's see what its current valuation is, probably the exact same valuation right now. So to me, this is not even priced in. So VKTX is 6.2, and MDGL is 5.2 billion. So you have to think they have their assets from their GLP-1 assets. I think that's like 98% of its valuation. I think it's severely undervalued just even based on where it is, just on the GLP-1 assets, not to include the Nash assets. So some of the concern, it costs a lot of money to roll these drugs out, to do the studies, to get the approvals, to do the marketing, the sales. And so it's not like you just get an approval for a drug and that's it and you're done. So it's a very cash intensive process. And because of that, people look at VKTX and say, wow, it's going to take a lot of money to get these drugs to market, especially when you have LOI and MVO already well entrenched in the GLP-1 space. But they have best in breed in the GLP-1 oral and injectable, and they have the adverse effects is best in breed, best in class, I guess you would say. And now the Nash is best in class. Uh, nice little note I posted. Someone posted on FinTwit. Just one of the analysts, Jeffries, who has a $110 price target on VKTX, thinks the sell-off yesterday was more just liquidity and the fact that there was no update. So VKTX, Viking, the company didn't announce the next step after this Nash data. There's no phase 3 update, which they think there's going to be a phase 3 study, but they didn't give any updates, so there was concerns there. But I think they're going to announce some kind of partnership, and someone's going to run that phase 3 study. So I think that's some reason it sold off. I mean, again, I don't think any of the Nash is baked into the stock whatsoever. I think it melts higher over the coming weeks. So if it holds 56, 57, I'll look for more strikes. That's VKTX. GPCR closed in the green yesterday, up over nearly 3%, despite the 60% move the day before. So that's a good sign. Strong volume. At some point, probably today, I'll look to close the last of my June strikes, and then I'll have later dated strikes for move possibly over $70 in the coming weeks. Great story. I think they also have an M&A possibility, and that's GPCR. HPE, so HP Enterprise, it's a spinoff of HPQ, and HPE merged with another company. They reported earnings after the close yesterday, bested estimates, raised guidance, and the stock is soaring. I don't know if it's still over $20 here. Um, so yes, 2043. So they're more the software side, right? And so when they say enterprise software, so when they talk about AI being a tailwind, I think that bodes well for AI, C3 AI. So you can see that one's gapping just a little bit here in the pre-market. I think that heads over 30 and close over 30 today. I think that bode well for more highs. And then I just think obviously HPQ is going to probably get a little boost today. So hopefully it puts some wind in the sails in some of those names. And then Dell, which third day in a row, Dell held that downward support, that down support line that I had, the support resistance level, rallied nearly, well, I would say rallied up nearly 3%. I hate to call it a rally after its big pull from $180. But I think if it gets over 140, I might look for some more strikes. I've talked about this the last 3 days around their margins on their AI servers. And it's like they're not a non-for-profit company. So to assume or to think or imply that they're going to have zero margins on that side of the business, then they shouldn't do business with it, right? So I can't see that happening. Maybe the market will start pricing in at least some profit there. Uh, there's C3 AI. Some of the other names. So Align Technologies, rough 2 sessions in a row, and it got a downgrade yesterday from OTR Global. I don't even know what time the downgrade came out. Uh, I didn't see it in the morning. Came out in the afternoon. I don't even know if that's some of the reason it sold off. I mean, stock is near multi-month lows. So I thought I was trying to trade the bottom. When I got the calls, you start looking the last time a line was down at this level was right in December, at the end of 20 mid-December 2023. If it can hold here, I think it's off to the race again. They have an accelerated stock buyback program. Uh, it's just going to take a 3% move, then a 3% move, then a 3% move, and I think it's going to be 270, 280. So I'm not sure I'll add anything today, but if it does start to show some signs, I'll look for some more strikes to play that one for upside. Still, of course, still in CGC ACB, but those calls are not looking good whatsoever. But still eyeing and still have IIPR calls, but those are going to be expiring pending any crazy move. I will continue to look for opportunities, especially in IIPR, for some July strikes. It's kind of been just churning around here the last week or two. I think those catch fire at some point again, so I keep looking at those. Turns look like it want to break out. Well, Turns Pharmaceuticals, TERN is the ticker. It looked like it was going to break out yesterday, and then that fell back under $6. Hopefully that finds some momentum at some point and just takes off. That $7 handle looks like oil and vinegar. Every time it gets to $7, it has a large decline. And then on the flip side, if for some reason we get some weakness, some sellers, which I don't think, if we do get some sellers, maybe we drop down to 527, 528. But I'll be looking for AVGO possibly as a hedge, like I've always been looking at. And I think that's about it. I'm trying to think of some of the other names. No, I think that's it, folks. Let's have a great day. I'll be back on the audio later. Rock and roll.